Money doesn't discriminate, but people's habits with money do. The difference between staying broke and building wealth often comes down to daily choices, choices that poor people make without realizing the cost, and choices that rich people make intentionally to grow their financial freedom. Let me tell you how I learned this lesson the hard way. At 42 years old, I was making what I thought was good money, but I was drowning in credit card debt, car payments and late fees. Then I watched a friend who earned less than me pay cash for his dream home. That's when I realized it's not about how much you make, but what you do with what you have. Here's the truth about money habit. Poor people spend money before they even have it. They get excited about a coming raise or bonus and immediately start planning how to spend it. Maybe a new car, a nicer apartment, or a fancy vacation. Rich people treat extra income differently. They see it as an opportunity to pay down debt, invest, or save first. I made this mistake early in my career when I blew my first big bonus on a Vegas trip and new gadgets instead of using it to build financial security. Poor people blame their financial situation on outside factors. They'll say the economy is bad, their boss doesn't pay enough, or the system is rigged against them. Rich people take responsibility. They ask themselves what they can control and how they can improve their situation. I used to blame everyone for my money problems, my job, the housing market, even my parents for not teaching me about money. But nothing changed until I stopped blaming and started taking action. Poor people often believe money is evil or that rich people are greedy. They feel guilty about wanting financial success. Rich people understand that money is just a tool. It amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, money lets you be more generous. If you're selfish, you'll probably be more selfish with money. I remember getting my biggest freelance check ever and spending it all quickly because part of me felt I didn't deserve to have that much money at once. Poor people fall into lifestyle creep. As their income goes up, so does their spending. Every raise means a nicer car, more expensive rent, or new subscriptions. Rich people increase their savings and investments when they make more money. I knew a guy in tech who doubled his salary in 3 years but had more debt and stress than ever because every extra dollar went to lifestyle upgrades instead of building wealth. Poor people waste their free time on entertainment that doesn't move them forward. Endless TV, social media scrolling, or just hanging out. Rich people use some of their free time to learn and grow. When I swapped just 30 minutes of nightly TV for reading finance books or listening to investing podcasts, it changed my financial future. Poor people neglect their health, thinking they're too busy to exercise or eat well. Rich people treat their body like their most valuable asset. A friend of mine ignored chest pains for months because he was working long hours, then had a heart attack at 47 that cost him $40,000 out of pocket, not to mention lost income. Poor people are afraid to ask questions about money because they feel they should already know. Rich people constantly ask questions and seek mentors. When I finally admitted to a friend that at 44 I didn't understand my 401k, he explained it all to me, and that one conversation probably added 6 figures to my retirement savings. Poor people use credit cards to treat themselves when they're stressed or feel they deserve it. Rich people use credit strategically or pay cash. That $120 dinner out isn't just $120 when you put it on a credit card and pay interest for months. It might end up costing $150 or more. Poor people surround themselves with others who normalize being broke, friends who mock saving or say money isn't everything, while complaining about bills. Rich people gradually surround themselves with people who have financial goals. This was one of the hardest things I did, distancing myself from people I cared about, but whose financial mindset was holding me back. Poor people talk about ideas but never follow through. They'll say, I'm going to start a business, or I'll get serious about saving next year, but never take action. Rich people may start slow, but they finish what they begin. I had an idea for a service business that I talked about for years, then watched someone else launch the same idea successfully, because they actually did it while I just planned. Poor people wait for someone or something to save them, a lucky break, an inheritance, or the economy to improve. Rich people take responsibility for creating their own financial future. I used to hope my company would notice my hard work and give me a big raise, but nothing changed until I started creating additional income streams myself. Poor people constantly restart their financial plans, new budgets every Monday that they quit by Friday, or signing up for courses they never finish. Rich people focus on small, consistent actions. $100 invested every month might not seem exciting, but over time it builds real wealth through compound interest. Poor people let emotions control their money decisions, spending when stressed or avoiding their bank account when anxious. Rich people pause before financial decisions. I once quit a client contract in anger without a backup plan and lost 3 months of income I desperately needed, an expensive lesson in emotional decision-making. Poor people prioritize comfort now over freedom later. They'll say, "I deserve this treat," or "I'll worry about money tomorrow." Rich people are willing to be uncomfortable today for security tomorrow. A friend downsized his apartment in his 40s while others were upgrading. 5 years later, he bought his dream home in cash because he'd invested the difference. Poor people think they have plenty of time to get serious about money. Rich people understand time is their most valuable asset. The saddest words I've heard came from people in their 60s saying, "I thought I had more time." So where do you stand? If you recognized yourself in several of these poor money habits, don't despair. Awareness is the first step. The rich weren't born with better money skills. They developed them through practice. Start with one habit today. Maybe it's tracking your spending, reading a finance book, or having that money conversation you've been avoiding. Your future self will thank you. Remember, it's not about where you are today, but about the habits you build for tomorrow. Every wealthy person started somewhere. Why not start today? If you recognized yourself in any of these money habits, good. Awareness is the first step toward real change. Remember, financial freedom isn't about luck or magic. It's about consistent, intentional choices. Here's your challenge today. Pick one habit from this list that's holding you back and commit to changing it this week. Small steps create big results over time. Want to go deeper? Here are 3 life-changing books that helped me reshape my money mindset. 1. The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. Perfect if debt is your biggest struggle. 2. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Will change how you think about assets versus liabilities. 3. The Psychology of Money by Housel. Explains why smart people make dumb money decisions and how to avoid them. The link to these books is in the description. You should check them out. Your next move matters most. Comment below with the habit you're changing first. Accountability works. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. We all know that friend. Save and bookmark this video and revisit it in 30 days to track your progress. Remember, every wealthy person started where you are right now. The only difference, they started. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. Let's get to work.